It's another episode of Outlaw Sports with Jesse and John. Sometimes I say John and Jesse. I get it mixed up a little bit from time to time, but we don't normally pop in here this early for a live stream. We want to do one real quick because there's a guy that might be committing to either Oklahoma, Texas, or Texas A&M. Those are the leading three, I think, that Jonathan wants to come in here and touch on, and he's more of a recruiting type guy, and I'm just going to leave it to him.
All right, so for Oklahoma fans, I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. Let me swap over the comments so I can see the comments coming in. We're talking about Michael Fasusi, right? 5-star offensive tackle, big-time recruit. If you look on his actual Twitter, what he has is he has 5 teams listed: Texas, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Oregon. Pretty much Missouri and Oregon have damn near been everything but rolled out from the looks of it. And if you look at On3, 24/7 Sports as well, it's kind of in the same boat, right? Like those two were kind of being pushed off to the side because Michael Fasusi has been mainly concentrating on talking about, well, Texas, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. So there's been a lot of talk about Michael Fasusi and what he can bring to the program and where everybody thinks he's going. If you look on Facebook, if you look on Twitter, there's damn near a battle between Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Texas fans on this dude and where he's going to end up going. Now, I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion on this guy. He's one of the most elite prospects in this class, right? I believe he's ranked as he's the number 5 offensive tackle by national ratings on 24/7 Sports, or number 3 rating by Composite, which is what I normally go by, and the 8th best player in Texas and 27th nationally. So he's clearly a game-changing offensive tackle. We already know that. He will most likely start, if not day one, by the end of this season, almost no matter what team he goes to, including Texas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, wherever he lands, right? He's that damn good. But what I want to touch on this recruit is I'm going to alleviate some confusion, and I'm going to piss some people off on this live stream, and I'm pretty sure it's going to do it. But let's talk about the 3 people leaving the comments first before I go in here and start torching the teams. What's going on, Benjamin? Cisco, what's up, Outlaw Posse? One of your normals, JPC. And, of course.
Yeah, by the way, I did release a video today about Coach Kahn. Coach Kahn time, Deion Sanders, is doing rather well, 1989M. I know you like it when I grill his ass. So go check out that video. I released it today at 1:30 p.m. It's about Coach Kahn time and his team basically losing their bows.
And then before I get started, Eric Tacomarino in here. What's going on, brother? So with that being said, where do I personally think Fasusi will end up landing? With me, it's not a head scratcher. With me, there's no doubt in my mind he lands at Texas, right? He does not go to Texas A&M. He does not go to Oklahoma. He does not go to Oregon. And he does not go to Missouri. It pretty much makes complete sense. Oklahoma fans will be screaming, well, he should come to Oklahoma. I already know the argument that's going to be made. The problem with the Oklahoma argument is going to be this. You already have a stacked big offensive line. You have tackles already. And I think that's why Michael Fasusi will not go to Oklahoma. That's going to be the argument against him and Texas A&M both, right? You already have these established, whereas Texas will not. Texas is about to lose their entire offensive line, by the way, after this upcoming season. So Fasusi may have to sit 1 year as a redshirt at Texas, and then he gets to start immediately at Texas. Whereas if he goes to Oklahoma, he's sitting there for a little while. Texas has brought in a couple massive left tackles this past couple years, even the year prior to Brent Venables coming in with Lincoln Riley, right? So, no, not Lincoln Riley. It was the first year Venables got there.
I did see an article earlier this week that was saying that Oklahoma's weakness is the offensive line.
No, it is. It is. But the problem is Fasusi will not go in there and start. Brent Venables, and from what I've seen from Bill Beanbo, right, is that they do not like starting these young cats, right? If you go back and look, basically I can't really say Brent Venables because he was not an offense coordinator, right? He was a defense coordinator, and this is offensive tackle. But if you look at the track record of what goes on inside this program, it's a complicated offense, right? With Jeff Lebby started there, it's a very complicated offense. The amount of shifts and leans and everything, gap responsibilities you have to learn as an offensive lineman in these programs is very extensive, right? It's actually more complicated, honestly, more than a lot of zone that you're going to see at Texas, right? So you don't need – he has a better chance, in my opinion, to go to Texas and start sooner than he would at Oklahoma. And if anything, that should be a compliment to Oklahoma. It's not taking a shot at Oklahoma. It's the fact that you are going to be more established over the long term without this cat than with him. Because if you bring him in, you're going to be forced to start him right away. It's very clear that Michael Fasusi wants to start sooner than later. He's already.
If Oklahoma's offensive line is already weak, why wouldn't he start? I mean, even they are the starters. I mean, he can come in and take one of their spots if they're as weak as people are saying they are. Maybe he goes to Oklahoma because he knows it's a weak offensive line.
Just because it's a weak offensive line doesn't mean you're going to pick up on the scheme. The problem is you're not. It's like going to a Nick Saban defense, right? You could be the best player there. You could be the number one cornerback, the number one free safety, whatever it may be. That does not mean you're going to step on that field and understand how that defense works. Doesn't mean you're able to pick up on it very quickly. And that's going to be my argument against Oklahoma. And like I said, this is my argument against Texas A&M as well. Just because they're weak right now doesn't mean they're going to be more established, because Oklahoma's building depth. They've been building depth since Brent Venables has gotten there, whereas Texas and Steve Sarkisian has been ahead of the curve, right? But the problem is that Steve Sarkisian is about to lose everybody. So if you're put in that situation, where do you think you're going to go? And you can make an argument to any of this, by the way. You can make the argument even to A&M. You can make the argument to Oklahoma. Hell, you could possibly even make the argument to one of the hottest recruiting head coaches right now, and Dan Lanning in Oregon, right? So Missouri, I think, is the only one, in my opinion, that's kind of like pushed off to the side. But I think of those four, you can literally make the argument.
I've seen numerous times where, players like in Nick Saban's system and other systems come in, and like I said, the offensive line's already weak, and Nick Saban was not beyond starting a freshman over someone who was weak. So just because someone's already there and established doesn't necessarily mean that you can't go to that team if you really want to play there.
I agree. It's happened twice in 16 years Nick Saban was there. One didn't happen to the end of the year with Alex Leatherwood, and the other one was, dear God, what was his name? He just got drafted like 4 years ago. Not DJ Fluker.
Well, not even true freshmen, but sophomores will end up starting over seniors.
Yes, and once again, yes, but I don't think this dude is going to want to wait very much. And that's where I think the argument.
He might not have to wait if they suck so bad, right?
He's not, once again, bro. You're talking about moving from a different system. You're talking about what he's running it in high school to what he's going to be running if he went to Oklahoma is two different things. I'm sorry, but unless his football IQ is astronomical, I just don't see it happening. And I'm not saying he doesn't have the IQ of that. But what I'm getting at is like the possibilities of this happening, it's just not looking very good. If you're an Oklahoma fan, I think he goes to Texas. I'd be willing to put money on it, hands down.
Yeah. Well, you said you want me to come in here and maybe, bounce some different things off of you.
So yeah, no, of course. And once again, like I said, you can make the argument, like you said, you can make the argument of, well, if he does want to start right away, if he believes that he can pick up on that scheme sooner than later, he goes to Oklahoma. Right. I believe that if you're willing to go into a rebuilding program from the ground up, you go to Texas A&M to become that staple piece, right? I believe that if you want to go to one of the hottest recruiting and hottest teams in college football, you go to Oregon with Dan Lanning right now going to the Big Ten, right?
One thing working in Oklahoma's favor, I think, and we discussed this off the air, is Bill Beedenbow is one of the more better offensive line recruiters, specifically that position, because that's been his calling card for his entire coaching career. So the fact that Bill Beedenbow or Baugh, whatever they want to call it,
Bill Beedenbow,
is in a mix. I mean, I think it gives Oklahoma a fighting chance. And you also pointed out the fact that Jaden Hardy is from Lewisville, Texas, which is the hometown of Michael. So that could work in there. They could get him to try to help out. And actually, Oklahoma, even though it's in another state, the campus at Oklahoma is actually closer to the home. Oklahoma is actually closer to the home of Michael.
Yeah, Texas is a big-ass state. Like I said, all that can work in your favor. I think the absolute best thing Oklahoma has going for is Bill Beedenbow. I think he's one of the best offensive line guys out there. I think he was one of the best recruiters for offensive lines. But that's why I think if you're an Oklahoma fan, you almost have to kind of overlook this recruit. In a sense, if you don't get him, you can't throw a fit about it, right? So I've thrown plenty of fits over Alabama not getting certain recruits. And because most of them just didn't make sense why you didn't get the recruit. I think this is one where if Oklahoma does not get this recruit, you can't throw a fit about it, right? So, and I'm all about throwing fits when you don't get a recruit when it makes sense. So, and Eric Chalker said, I got 20 on Oklahoma. Well, come back here August 21st because that's when he is going to do his commitment. And I'm telling you, when he commits to Texas, I'm telling you guys right now, it's exactly what's about to happen.
Yeah, we're starting early today because we just want to jump in real quick on this recruit that's coming up. We want to get a jump on everybody else and maybe get a little bit, just a little bit of a jump on everybody else. Killer Breeze.
And so, and with that being said, so while we're on here real quick, to give some news as well, the SEC is looking at making a major rule change, in my opinion, this year, where you will be required to release injury updates the week of a game. So as of right now, the SEC does not require that, right? So the Big Ten does require it, and they do it for gambling purposes, right? So right now, Alabama can hold out or Oklahoma can hold out information on somebody starting, not starting, whatever it may be, into the very last minute the game is kicking off. People that gamble on college football like me do not like that. We like to know ahead of time what the hell is going on with these players. So, but with that being said, I think that's kind of a big deal, not just for gambling purposes only, but I mean, it's good for the fans out there to know ahead of time.
Can they not just, fudge on the report a little bit if you can't prove the line?
Well, if it's going to be a requirement, it's going to have to come from their team, their medical doctor, right, or whatever he's called, the medical physician. I don't think a medical physician is going to be willing to lie.
Like, I don't think so.
I don't think losing a 10-year license is worth fudging a little bit.
But can they prove it?
Yeah. A lot of times they have to if they're saying he's injured, they have to document it. Come on now, let's not get too ridiculous.
Well, they can say, look, man, I'm just not comfortable with him starting this week. And then at the last minute, just decide to let him start.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Patriots in the NFL got scolded enough for that exact thing happening when they damn near kept him out of the playoffs one year. So, I mean, it happened 2 weeks prior to the playoffs kicking off. And it was Bill Belichick. Him and his team physician got openly caught lying about a player's injury. Yeah. And the shit almost hit the fan.
Well, they used to do it all the time back in the day.
Back in the day.
The Georgia Bulldogs, for example, had a great running back by the name of Herschel Walker. And,
yeah.
They acted like he wasn't going to play. And he ended up playing. They sort of lured Auburn in a little bit and then, made them feel the bang DDP style.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, that doesn't happen really so much anymore that we know of because of Vegas purposes. People are gambling. You can't be taking people's money like that knowing this shit's going on. Like that's why.
Fred Bagley said, if anyone gets them away from OU, it's going to be Texas, but don't count beating by out.
No, and I wouldn't. I'm just leaning on Texas. I think if Beanbo wasn't there at Oklahoma, I would completely discount Oklahoma. But because he is there, yes. So yeah, last Caden Green started 6 games as a freshman before leaving to Missouri, and that's my point, guys. And I think that's what people don't want to listen to. Caden Green, I made a huge video on my channel, by the way, that went not viral, but it got a lot of attention because I called out Caden Green going to Oklahoma because it made sense, blah, blah, blah. But I stressed on that video. I said, when he goes to Oklahoma, if they try to start him too early, what's going to happen? Because of this scheme, he's going to get behind. He's going to get taken advantage of. And what happened? He got torched and then left to Missouri. And you could see the exact same thing happen to Michael Fasusi if he ends up Fasusi, right? Yeah. Sorry. If he goes to Oklahoma, you could possibly see this happen again. Fasusi, there we go. You could see it happening again.
Like sushi. Like the Nagasaki egg rolls. Where are the Nagasaki egg rolls?
There you go.
The Nagasaki egg roll is going to swoop in and steal one because their chief recruiter is George Contupis, a.k.a. the Killer Breeze.
Bro, you killed me on that one, man. That's one thing about Killer I won't ever – the Nagasaki egg rolls thing, like there's some stuff that would just always stick around, and that's one of them. Yeah, and like you said, Caden Green got left. Yeah, you know why he got left behind? Because he couldn't pick up the damn scheme fast enough. That's why he got left behind. Because once again,
pick it up.
Once again, you're talking about bringing Caden Green, and by the way, has an extremely high IQ when it comes to football. That was well known before he even committed. So that's what I'm saying. So these guys, I'm telling you, I think it just makes sense if he wants to play early. Now, if he's willing to sit and he wants to get development, in my opinion, you go to Oklahoma. You're going to sit for a couple of years, one, maybe two, learn from Bill Bedenbaugh.
But he did start, though.
Do what?
But he was a starter.
Yes, and he got ripped apart. That Caden Green didn't do anything.
There's seniors and juniors that are getting ripped apart right now.
I understand that. But do you want your freaking 5-star offensive tackle being embarrassed on national television? What do you think he's going to do?
That's how you learn, man.
Yeah. If it happens twice in a row, Brent Venables and Bill Bedenbaugh will not be able to recruit another offensive tackle. I promise
Andre
you that.
Smith at Alabama back in the day, I think he started as a freshman. He got torched the first year, but he learned from it.
He was a damn freshman All-American.
He got torched in those
he got a little bit, but once again, dude, the system. You're not the system. All right. Anyways, yes, goes to Oklahoma. I would say congratulations. I would say you're going to sit for a year, maybe two, learn from Bill Bedenbaugh, and you're probably going to get more developed. You're probably going to be a higher draft pick than versus going to Texas, in my opinion.
There you go. That's a good one right there. Bill Bedenbaugh is more apt and has a better history of developing players to go on to the NFL, right?
Yes, he does, and there's no doubt about that. And Justin Gosser makes it a good point. I'm like, Kane left because he put him at guard. He wasn't ready to play tackle once again. Like, Caden Green had better tangibles than Michael does, right? He has better length. He if you look at everything that puts him as a left tackle, Caden was above him. So you're going to take a guy that's slightly down from Caden Green, in my opinion, and put him in the same position.
Caden Green's going to get embarrassed when OU comes to mid-poo.
Yeah, I don't think Caden Green's worried about that. I think, once again, Brent Venables and his staff has to look at what's best long-term. And I think if you bring in another offensive tackle that's saying, I want to start now, and it happens to be a Caden Green 2.0, it's going to be tough sledding to get another big-time offensive tackle recruit to come in. I think they're bringing in the correct guys. I've been saying that. That's why I said Floyd Bicard was the perfect guy to bring in. You know what I mean? Like, all these guys, I think you can't just look at stars. You can't just look at positional ratings. If he doesn't fit the scheme or what he wants to do, why bring the dude in?
This is makes no sense. A pop-up short live stream, and we're running towards that 20-minute mark. Right?
Yeah, I know. I'm noticing. But anyways, and
we just enjoy it too much. We get on here, we just start loving it too much.
Well, yeah, I know. And Fred Bagley says Green got influenced by others and money. Well, everybody's gonna be influenced by money now. There's more money this year than ever before. So once again, but yeah, no, I got you.
If y'all want to get your comments read out before we get off here, there's a little money dollar sign at the bottom. You can click on that real quick, write your comment out, then hit it twice. The second click after you write your comment out. And it'll highlight your comment and push it to the top.
And you guys know, if I'm not an Alabama fan, I'm pulling for Oklahoma. And I would love to see Oklahoma get him. I would love to see him go to Oklahoma if he's willing to sit. If he's not, which he's voicing he's kind of not from what I've heard, there we go.
Larry Trewicki says Deion's kid said that they ever won Super Bowl. And the only reason I read that out is because I did do a video on Colorado today at the encouragement of the Neckbeard. I got on there and basically grilled the hell out of Con Time earlier today about 1:30 p.m. So if y'all want to see the Deion groupies lose their bows, check that video out.
So as of right now, 24/7 Sports has Michael Fasusi going to 24/7 Sports have him going to Texas, right? They have multiple. All of them are pointing to Texas, actually. On3 has a 63.2% chance of him going to Texas. Texas A&M actually being second at 28.5%, and then Oklahoma now at 3.4%. So, and if you go and read why, it's going to make 100% complete sense. As an Alabama fan, I think Alabama fans get too concentrated on stars and ratings and not just the damn system.
And then it was Oregon and Missouri, and I think Alabama was in there around sixth.
Yeah, they're all those three are cold.
But absent from the mix once again is who? The USC Skittle Shitters are nowhere to be found when an elite recruit is being recruited. How do you like
God.
me now?
Oh, yeah. Lincoln Riley falling short as usual. Like Fred Bagley gets tired of me. We know, John, you make valid points. No, I don't make valid points. I just try to do as much research as I can on why it would make sense for somebody to go somewhere. But
John
that's just, but that sometimes that means nothing. Sometimes the guys just go where the hell they want to go. So it doesn't mean you're right.
He's called the podcasting sensei on my friends list. Yep.
You're ridiculous. You did have me as that, though.
I do still have you as that. It comes up on my
phone.
You do? Yeah.
You're ridiculous. All right, but that's all I got to talk about. Like I said, in case you guys didn't hear when you first got on here, I believe Michael Fasusi will end up at Texas. If he doesn't end up at Texas, I know everything's pointing to Texas A&M second. I believe he would go to Oklahoma second for the development, unless he has the mindset of I want to be somewhere for the ground up, a build-up program. I believe that would be Texas A&M.
Well, they might need to try to play on Jaden Hardy too, if they actually like
it. And yes, Oklahoma does have Jaden Hardy, which was a teammate. He was a teammate, right, of Michael Fasusi at Louisville. So he can definitely play on that. And Bill Bedenbaugh, like I said, and they are closer, like you said, to home. So if you look at the family aspect and things like that. Yeah, and I do agree with Mad Dog Mike here. I do agree with that 100%. If he wants to be fully developed and NFL ready and probably get a higher draft pick, in my opinion, he goes to OU.
That's
yes,
right.
I do agree with that.
Go, Bill, go. Boomer Center on the Bill Bedenbaugh.
But yeah, because I'm a huge fan of his. I've been talking to him about him for about 2.5 years, Bill Bedenbaugh.
That's right.
And yeah, Fred Bagley nailed it right on the head. If he ends up at Texas, we don't need him. We want him. And that's the way I kind of approach recruits now as an Alabama fan. Like I look at the system first, and then if we don't get him, we don't get him. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be fine. You have development at Oklahoma. You have a great coaching staff. You have all that good stuff. But yeah, that's all I got on this.
One more shot at con time Deion Sanders and his entourage of jackass groupies out there in the Rockies. 1989M says, old Saka Zulu has got the worst target on his back this fall. Yikes. And when he says Saka Zulu, he is speaking of who, Jonathan?
Shedeur Sanders.
That's right, Shedeur Sanders. Oh, Saka Zulu Sanders.
Who said that Georgia's the number 1 team in the nation and Colorado is number 2.
There you go. He said he heard it here first. Shedeur knows. Shedeur absolutely nothing. Shedeur knows how to lose a 29-point lead to Stanford at halftime.
Yeah, that was not good. But all right, that's all I got, man.
All right, brother. I guess anybody got any more comments? If they don't, we're fixing to get up out of here, man. So just give them your call sign and we'll get up out of this bitch.
All right, at College FB Lewis on Twitter. Other than that, as always, neckbeard out.
That's right. And KMCA to all the other teams, class is now officially dismissed.